In this video, I'm going to tell you about a little experiment I'm going to be doing over the coming week, maybe month. We'll see how I go. And this experiment will come as a huge surprise to anyone that knows me well. I've been a staunch anti-smoker my entire life. I cannot stand the smell of cigarettes, pipes, or cigars. So why on earth then have I purchased myself one of these and some of this stuff to go with it? Stay tuned. All will be revealed. Hello, well I'm taking a short break from the inspiring interviews as I've been away on holiday. They will be coming to you soon, but in the meantime I thought I'd tell you about a little experiment that I'm doing. Now in my book, Misadventures of an Accidental Activist, I did mention that I do like to do experiments, although I only discussed the one I'd done with diet, which was trying vegan, vegetarianism, and the carnivore diet. 2 of those nearly killed me, and I definitely won't be doing them ever again. But anyway, this is nothing to do with food, but it is health related. So we've all been told about the dangers of smoking and how incredibly dangerous it is. But over the last few years, I've been hearing some good things about tobacco. And if we've learnt nothing over the past 5 years or so, it is to question everything we think we know to be true.
So you've all been told nicotine is just an addictive substance linked to cancer from tobacco products. That's all you've ever heard your whole life. In January of 2023, Mark Lemke, a research scientist, conducted a study on only long COVID patients. They found that every single long COVID patient and every symptom that persists for years is completely eradicated with a 7 milligram nicotine patch if you just wore one every day for 6 days.
You're kidding.
By day 6, 100% of all their symptoms were eradicated that they had suffered with for up to 2 years, trying every medication you can think of that can be prescribed by a medical doctor, trying all physical therapy. Nothing touched it. Now, that's Mark Lemke's work. Tobacco is the highest containing nicotine plant on earth. The second highest are all your nightshade vegetables, which you mentioned, eggplant, tomatoes. Third is white potatoes. And then it's cauliflower, celery, bell peppers.
But they're not slapping a label saying nicotine is addictive. Watch out for your cauliflower.
Mike, because nicotine by 1994 was known to be a cure for these various chronic illnesses. The nutrient called nicotine, not the drug. The FDA called it a drug. It's actually a nutrient. In 1994, in April, the United States Congress invited the 7 CEOs of all biggest tobacco giants in America to come in and swear under oath one thing. And under threat of perjury, the senator says to all of them, is nicotine addictive or not? And all 7 of them raise their hand, say their name, and say, nicotine is not addictive. Organic tobacco is what I'd recommend if you're going to use it.
This is the problem. There's a lot of other chemicals and crap in a cigarette. That's what makes them bad. But you're saying it's not the nicotine in the cigarette that's the bad thing.
2016, that's exactly 22 years later, Harvard publishes a research study after evaluating 7 million pages that they got from the FDA of R&D, research and development papers from tobacco giants going far back as the 1970s. And they wanted to know, is it truly nicotine that makes tobacco products addictive from the FDA's own documents? And the title of their paper reads, nicotine alone does not cause the addictive nature of tobacco products.
What in the world?
And then they tell you what did. And then they show you what it is. They show you that the FDA has a list on their website of the amount of chemicals that the FDA has approved for the tobacco industry to add to their tobacco plant products. It's a total, Alex, of 599 chemicals made by man.
What?
And of those 599, there's 15 exactly that are called pyrazines, Pyrazines, pyrazines. And Harvard lists the chemical structure name of each of the pyrazines currently in tobacco products. And Harvard wrote that the FDA should start regulating pyrazines because of their addictive nature. That's what's responsible for the learning behavior, the addictive nature of all tobacco products. And the FDA has allowed them to put that in tobacco products since 1970.
It's been described by Dr. Brian Ardis as a cure-all. And as someone who is needing to look after elderly parents, I've been very interested in what I've heard about tobacco and specifically nicotine.
What is nicotine known to medical science to be a preventative nutrient of and a treatment for to help cure and reduce symptoms of. The first one are all neurodegenerative diseases. Parkinson's disease can be prevented and can be cured and its symptoms reversed with nicotine alone. If you go online right now and look up medicalnewstoday.com and then write dietary nicotine Parkinson's, the actual title of the article reads, "Can dietary nicotine reverse or prevent Parkinson's?" That nicotine is known to medical science to be a curative agent and a preventative agent for Alzheimer's.
I knew you were going to say that next. I had a feeling.
So the dementia related to Alzheimer's, could you believe that nicotine, I have learned in the last 3 years, is known to science. Nicotine by itself is called a nootropic. Nootropic means a brain stimulator. It actually turns the brain on. It's amazing. So people with dementia, they're having a hard time finding their words, finding their names, finding faces, finding memories. You want to turn the brain on, give it some nicotine, it'll do it. The third is multiple sclerosis. In my book, Moving Beyond COVID-19 Lies, in the nicotine chapter, I actually share the research link to a study out of Sweden. They found out 20 years later, the individuals who actually started smoking cigarettes and dipping snuff, those people had the lowest of all risk factors for multiple sclerosis.
Now, see, critics say that you are spreading dangerous misinformation when you talk about this stuff. What is your response?
It is very dangerous for big pharma. Nicotine by itself as a nutrient has 4 times the amount of anti-inflammatory benefits than any singular inflammatory reaction. So if you're living with chronic migraines, arthritis, anything that ends with itis, I-T-I-S, that means inflammation of, nicotine turns it off.
Now, there are a lot of people online who disagree with everything Dr. Brian Ardis says, and perhaps they have good reason. I do not know. So there's the choice of reading through all the scientific literature that has shown nicotine to have some beneficial uses, or I could just try it and give it a go. So here we are. Now, as anyone who knows me well will not believe I've taken up smoking, I am going to do it live on camera. So no one is more surprised by this experiment than I am. In my latest book, Misadventures of an Accidental Activist, I talk about the things I never thought I'd do in a million years, like public speaking in front of hundreds of people, being on the run from the police, and so forth. This is even higher up the list than the things I've just listed, of things I never thought I'd do in a million years. I loathe and detest the smell of cigarettes so much, I've never ever even had a single puff on a cigarette in my entire life, let alone contemplated a pipe. Now, Dr. Brian Ardis recommends that you use nicotine patches. Now, I went into the chemist to buy some to test on my parents the other day, but when I got back and looked at the ingredients, there was some quite nasty things in there. I was a bit concerned by the aluminium in it and various other stuff listed. So what I need to do is research whether the aluminium is part of the packaging or whether it's actually in the patch. But either way, it put us all off testing it. So this seemed the purest way to test it. And I must give a shout out to the very lovely Richard Vobes for helping educate me on pipe smoking. His tuition has been invaluable, especially when I put the pipe together and put this on the wrong way. He very gently and kindly told me I needed to turn it 180 degrees. And the advice he's given me is that with pipe smoking, you don't draw it all the way into the lungs, that you just sup it and keep it in the mouth, because it's the receptors in the mouth that you absorb the nicotine in. He's also warned me about a nicotine rush, what that's like to feel like, and that my mouth might feel a bit unclean afterwards. So I can't imagine for 1 minute I'm going to enjoy this, but the curiosity has well and truly got the better of me. So I have purchased some additive-free tobacco, and oh my goodness, the number of adverts on this telling you how dangerous and that you're going to die. I mean, talk about put the ideas into your head. Just awful. So I bought myself a cute little tin to put it in. So the tampy thing to push the tobacco in with hasn't arrived yet, so I'm going to have to use my fingers. Now, I've been watching Richard Vobes do some pipe smoking, because on his other channel, I think it's the Vobes Show, he does quite a lot of pipe smoking. So I've been watching closely to see what he does. Now, he seems to fill his right up to the top, so I better do the same, even though I can't imagine I'll be smoking this amount, if anything. Right, I don't know how much you tamp it down. Hopefully that's enough. And talking of the lovely Richard Vobes, he has written a fabulous new book, which is out in September. So I hope to have him on my inspiring interviews at some point in the near future to tell us all about it, because it sounds, from the excerpts I've heard him read so far, it sounds like it's a very good book and will be ideal to help educate and wake people up that perhaps aren't doing the levels of research that many of us have done. Anyway, not that I'm stalling doing this at all. Right, let's get on with it. Okay, so I haven't got the sideways lighter that I've seen Richard use, so this will have to do for the time being. Now, he seems to suck it in when he lights it, so... I don't think that's doing anything. All right. I think I might have sucked it a bit too deep. Oh, it's gone out. Oh, God. Oh, dear. No, it's gone out. I have seen him light it or not. Oh, my God. Do people actually do this for pleasure? Oh, Jesus. I'm amazed this ever caught on. No, it's gone out again. I'll come back once I've got the hang of this. Now, Richard does this thing where he holds the pipe and blows the smoke out whilst without having to take it out. I haven't got that level of skill yet, so... God, how hard can this be? I've never been good with fires. Come on. Maybe blowing helps. How hard is it to get this going? Oh, Jesus. I've chosen a long pipe because I thought it would look more elegant. I didn't want an old man's pipe. So this church warden style was so that the church wardens could see what was going on in the church and the smoke couldn't get in their eyes. I've no idea if I'm doing this right. My mouth does feel very tingly. My legs are feeling a bit tingly as well. I think I'm drawing it in too deep though. I think this is going to take some practice. Oh, yeah, my tongue's getting very, very tingly. Is that normal? It's getting a bit messy around the top. The pipe feels nice, as in the pipe itself, not the smoking part. Very nice ergonomic design. Got it off Etsy. They're only about £25. I thought I'd get a cheap one because I can't see me doing this permanently, but you never know. When I next see Richard, I'll have to get some advice on technique. I'm not sure this is how you're meant to do it, but anyway. Oh, good, it even attracts flies. Fantastic. Told you the smell was bad. Well, it's not as bad as I thought it would be, but I can't say I really like the taste. 5 minutes and I've already got a smoker's cough. Fantastic. Now, for my first book, Misadventures of Diddle the Nomad, I worked with a writing coach. And I remember her telling me this story of a friend of hers that smoked one cigarette just to test it, and she then became addicted to cigarettes for the rest of her life. And she spent thousands trying to get herself off it. I can't imagine becoming addicted to this, but hey-ho. It would be quite amusing, wouldn't it, for a staunch anti-smoker to become addicted to smoking. That would be very entertaining. So I can feel it sort of tingling in my body. So presumably that's the nicotine or something. So I might quit while I'm ahead because I'm beginning to feel a little bit spacey, slightly tipsy. Okay, yes, I'm going to quit while I'm ahead. I've managed to smoke 3 whole millimetres of tobacco. Wow. So what does one do with the rest of it? Do you have to tip it out and discard it now, or do you save it? Can I save that for tomorrow's? So there we go. I feel slightly tipsy. very tingly tongue, like I've scoffed a whole bowl of cherries, and swallowed a bonfire. I'll keep you posted if I can manage to keep this up for an entire week. I'm certainly of the age where if there's any improvement in cognitive function, I will definitely notice. But the pipe itself, I think, is very pretty. It's rather nice. Feels nice in the hand. The wood's got warm. It's olive wood I went for in the end, since I'd spent so much time living in Spain, which I mention in my book. I thought I would get some olive wood. Yeah, I do feel slightly tipsy. I'm not sure if it's a pleasant feeling or not. Oh, I can feel my legs fizzing. Anyway, I've got a lot more research to do. I would love to know who first thought to get hold of a leaf, crunch it up, and stick it in a pipe and smoke it. I mean, how did that even come about? You look at all the leaves around you. How did they know? Oh, we'll have that one and crunch it up. Now, this tobacco I have purchased that isn't going to kill me, despite what the packaging says. That I couldn't find organic pipe tobacco. You can get roll your own tobacco, which I think is a finer tobacco and it burns faster or more easily, because this is a right pain to get it going. So the best I could do was additive free. So I am actually growing some tobacco. It's in my father's greenhouse. He's nurturing it because they're very ickle. And apparently it takes about 3 months before you can get a harvest. So we've got August, September, October. So maybe by November I'll get my first harvest. Then you have to ferment the leaves. You hang them up to dry and you pack several together, and that will cause the fermentation process. And then, presumably, I can stick it in my pipe and smoke it. I'll have to research if you can make tobacco tea, but I don't know whether it's poisonous to ingest it in that way. But that would be my preference. I don't really want to chew it because I think it stains. Now, I've also sent off some nicotine pouches, which apparently a little packet that you shove under your top lip and it slowly releases the nicotine. Now, that seems to have a lot less nasty ingredients than the gum and the patches. But at least now I've tried the real thing. Going over to one of these artificial ones, I'll assume it's synthetic. Maybe it's not. I don't know. I'll have to look into that. I will then be able to tell the difference in my body. So I will do an update video in a week's time. Assuming, of course, I haven't died. I would think a week would be enough, wouldn't you? Surely, if it's going to do something amazing, one would know after a week or so. So anyway, if you could let me know in the comments whether I can reuse this, because I don't know if you can see in there, but the pipe's virtually full. Could do with a lid, really, if you can reuse it. So if you'd like a signed copy of my misadventures of an accidental activist book where I chart what happened to me between 2020 and 2025. So the book goes all the way from getting trapped in Spain and Italy in the lockdowns there, and then the struggle to return to England, and then everything that happened behind the scenes at a council watch. So it's a pink pill book, perfect to give to friends and family who are beginning to question all the madness that's going on in the world. I will be at the Shine seminars in Gloucester on Thursday and Friday, and then at the weekend I'll be in Berkshire for the Wellness Way. Is it a festival? Whatever that is. Weekend, I think it's called, with Barbara O'Neill. So I'm looking forward to that. I probably won't mention to her I've taken up pipe smoking. So I've got a box of them in the back of the car. So if you see me at any of these events or anywhere, because I've always got a box of them in the back of the car, just say, Rachel, I'd like a copy of your book, please, and I will do the honours for you. And I'm teaming up with fellow author Sue Cook, and we're going on a book tour. So we've only got a few dates booked so far, and you can see those on my website, rachelmatthews.uk/book-tour. And if you'd like us to come and speak where you are, then there's a contact form at the bottom of that page that you can fill in. But our next main talk is going to be in Long Melford in Sudbury at the Old Speak Bookshop on the 4th of September. But failing all of that, you can always purchase a signed copy, including postage and packaging, to anywhere in the UK directly from my website. So there will be some more inspiring interviews coming soon, as well as the update on my pipe smoking experiment, and of course the Sunday Stories, where I read excerpts from my book. Currently we're on Misadventures of a Digital Nomad, my first book. So until next time, take care. Bye-bye.